Hello. Today I'll be talking about my experience through my art career and how exactly, quantity and quality has affected it. This little guy is so cloaked up, and I tried doing it with a push pin, but like pushing this and this, but now my hand's too sticky. Shit. But my hands are stuck now. At first, I used to work only on 2 to 3 pieces at the same time, but when I was working on the pieces per se, it was one by one. And this was mostly a constraint of not having enough room. I was living in a dorm. All I had was one canvas to work with. So I was really just working one piece at a time, and while I loved it and I felt that I really liked that piece, I really felt that I wasn't like evolving and moving in a way that I wanted to. So now that I have this extra space, I've been trying to focus on creating multiple pieces of it. And this really just goes in hand with, it's my last summer of college, or like my last summer as a student. It's really just taking advantage of these last 3 months before school starts to, focus on creating a big group of art, And I feel like one of the only ways is like, well, yeah, I want to paint at least 12 pieces. And that's what I've been trying to do. And I felt that I've learned a lot in my first 4 pieces that I've created right now. So I've been working on these 4 pieces in the back that you can see. Show you guys the B-roll. What I've noticed is that by creating multiple pieces at once, I really have been able to filter it out really quick. It's like, okay, these are working, like these pieces are working, this one's not working. Let me scrap this one that's not working and focus on the ones that are working. While, still having the one that's not working on the side, but really with the intent of, alright, I'll work on this one with a new set of pieces. I'll have to start it all over again. So that's where I've come. I've seen a lot of videos about quantity versus quality, and that's really what I'm trying to focus right now. I'm trying to create a huge amount of quantity, I guess. The way that I'm doing it is more like a factory. I've been focusing on this style of, I got these 4 blank canvases starting, and you can see in my previous videos, and then sketching them all out at the same time. And then after I sketch them all out at the same time, it's like putting the base color at the same time. After I do that at the same time, it's like, all right, now let's, actually focus on each one. What is each one telling me? How do I respond to this piece, and how can I change this piece in a way? And then I go through and focus on the details of that piece per se. But, as an artist, I get tired. I sometimes lose track of the zone, where I'm just painting and painting. And I can do like a piece for 25 minutes at a time. I think that's a natural thing, it's a human thing. I can do a piece 25 minutes at a time, and as soon as I get bored of it, I take a break for 5 minutes. Instead of returning to that same piece as I used to before, I return to another one. And it's something new, something more exciting, something that I can work on now and, feel fresh-minded and start focusing on that piece for a while. And then, continue the cycle throughout the day, and it really helps me become more of a productive artist in a way. The practice of just being able to have a space of, where I can, my painting's already set. I used to live in a dorm room. So now that I have a table where my paintings are out, all I have to do is start painting, and the startup time is less than 5 seconds. It's literally just opening the can of oils and applying more paint, and I'm ready to go. Well, before I had to take out all my canvas, take out my paints, bring out, get the water cup, make sure my area's clean and everything. This just really helped me evolve in my way that I practice art. And the starting time between where alright, let's do art, I wake up, to alright, I can paint now, it's tiny, which has really helped me, be able to paint at least every day. In addition, through the works, I've noticed that I have to somewhat overcome trying to make these perfect works and try to set my standard to something that I've created before. As I mentioned before, I'm trying to create this series throughout my summer, and I'm basing most of my series in one work, and trying to understand that works there. and trying to create a body work related to that work while still not trying to be perfect. And what I mean by that is not copying that other body of work, letting each painting be itself in another way. And in that way, like by letting each painting be itself, I believe that it adds a touch to each one of them. You know, they're still congruent, they're still using the same colors, they're still painted by me, they're still using the same style that I'm trying to get across. But by each, by allowing each one to have its imperfections, it adds perfections to them. I believe the part of the quantity part, while yes, I'm trying to create quantity, I also have to deliver in the quality part. And that comes, through experience, but it also comes through spending time with each painting and, seeing what it's telling me and responding to it in a way. So, creating big body work has allowed me to experiment freely without having to feel that this particular piece has to be increasingly good. By producing 4 works at the same time, I'm able to quickly rule out the ones that I don't like in a manner where I don't try to make that piece perfect and, be able to let it go freely, knowing that, hey, I still got these 3 great works that I'm working on. And yeah, maybe the 4th one won't be the best, but I could always keep going at it later on. Not only that, but it's brought me to experiment more freely as well in the creative process of my works and trying out new things. But just that mindset in the back of my head, it's like, you know what, maybe we should do this brush stroke, even if it messes with the composition, or oh, maybe I should try this bright color in this place. Doing that without a fear, and it's something as a young artist that I struggle with sometimes. But creating multiple pieces has really helped me in achieving that level of freedom. So I've been working through the pieces. I've noticed that I have to find the right balance between, well, yes, I'm creating multiple pieces of works, but each piece of work deserves its own set of time. It's some quality per se. And while the quality has come through, my years of learning how to paint, it also has to come from me spending time in that particular painting. There's a specific craft that I like to involve in my paintings of multiple layers, or 5 to 10. That takes time. And while yeah, I can create the first few layers at the same time while working on other pieces, I eventually reach a point where I have to focus on each one by one, bring the small brush in and create a color that's unique to that piece and slowly adding it throughout the painting. But overall, the thing I've enjoyed the most is the journey of being able to, one, have the space available to produce this quality of work, and being able to see how these 4 different pieces that I've been working on, well, they all started the same way and mostly the same inspiration, trying to create a series and using the same ideas and palettes, have slowly become and evolved into their own thing, and now it's just a matter of dedicating the time to each piece and focusing on that quality of the piece and bringing the imperfections that each piece comes with. It's made the process of painting a bit more free, a bit more enjoyable. While before, while I was just painting one piece, it was more of a meditative process. Now I feel in rhythm. I feel like a well-oiled machine. Just going at it, and it's like, all right, I'm tired of this one, go to the next one, and it keeps me going in a way. I hope to enjoy this video. I hope that you're able to like, subscribe to support me and my channel. It's trying to create video logs to show my journey as an artist, but not only that, show my progression throughout my art. I've been doing videos for a couple of times for other artists, and I figure why not for myself, to try to record my process. And not only that, but by talking to the camera, I try to understand what I'm trying to do and put words into my paintings, something that being young and not really talked a lot about them, it really helps me process what I'm trying to create and process my bigger ideas of what I want my art to become. Thank you.